name is Haynes with Haynes Landscaping and Maintenance here in McKinney, and I just want to show you how to program a sprinkler control box for your sprinkler system. This is a Rainbird controller, a residential controller. You may have something different, but it's all going to be pretty much the same. So I'm just going to take you through each step and give you a watering program as well. We're coming up in the spring. March is just a week away, and I'll set this according to a good program to water now, being in March. And then if you follow us on Facebook, we'll give you some more tips throughout the season on watering and how to water different areas. But first is just start with going to the controller. We're going to focus in on the controller. And hopefully you can see it well enough to read what's going on. You see you've got your digital reading here, which gives you all of your data and information that you need to know. If you come over to your control knob, you can see right now we've got it on off, which means off. Nothing's watering at this point. Put it in auto as your auto position. Once you get everything programmed, and that's obviously where you want to put it to be able to have the system to work. If you turn this knob, and again, this part of the controller may look different on yours, but it's the same idea no matter what controller you have. They just may be set up differently. But if you turn your knob to where it says current date, that's where you set your date. Over here on this side, you can see once you put the knob on date, you'll see on your digital reading here, right now it's saying the 4th day of October 2002, and obviously that's wrong. This is a new controller. And basically you'll see the month here that's blinking. That's the one that we're going to change by using these buttons. You've got an up button and a down button, and just use that until you get to February. Then here you've got a manual start, manual advance button, and in this setting we're going to hit that, and that moves over to the day, meaning day 4. Now, 7-day period is Sunday through Saturday, so Sunday being day 1, Saturday day 7. So if we're going to set that for Wednesday, we would set that on day, I'm sorry, I need to back up here a little bit. That's the date. This is the day. Are we still going?
Yeah.
This is the day, not the day, not the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is the actual date. So we're in February, and today is the 23rd. And then we hit the manual advance again to get us over to the year. And we'll just again hit the button until we get to 2011. If you need to go back, just hit the back button. Once you get that set, come back over here to your knob, your dial, and you'll move that to current time, and it's the same idea. Use your buttons here to go up or down. Right now it's saying 3:15, which I believe 3 o'clock is right. The hour is correct, but I need to move over to my minutes and move that to 3:30, which is where we are right now, or 3:30. Once you get that set, we're good. Go ahead with your dial again and come over to watering start times. And this one's really important. You need to make sure in whatever city you're in, what area of that city you're in. If you're in McKinney, different locations have different watering days. There are restrictions in McKinney. Frisco has restrictions, and most all cities do, but they do change. So make sure you check with your city website to see what those watering restrictions are. Most all cities have restriction where you cannot water between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. So be careful with that. But when you come over to your watering times, one thing that we recommend is on a typical sprinkler system with spray type heads, which is what most residentials are going to have. You want to water about 30 minutes to get an inch of water in the ground. Now that'll vary throughout the season. We may change that up as we go throughout the season. But if you do all that at one time, you're going to have a lot of water runoff down the curb lines and down the street and sidewalks. So what we like to recommend is to set the watering start times for 8 minutes to 10 minutes, maybe less or maybe more depending on the area. If you've got a sloped yard, you want to water less and more frequently. If you've got an area that's in the full sun, you may water a little bit more as opposed to an area that's in a very heavily shaded area. So you'll adjust that accordingly, but use the 8-minute rule as a place to start, and then change as you need. But on your start times, put it on start time. You can see over here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 start times on this controller. Some have 3, some may have as many as 8. So in the springtime, we like to begin watering 2 cycles. In a minute we'll program the zones, and I'll show you that shortly. But we want to set up the first start time, say for 12 a.m. And we do that by getting on our first start time and then just adjust the time here, and then manual advance to the second start time. And if it takes an hour for your system to go through completely every zone in water, allow that to happen, then give it about an hour to soak in, and then set a second start time. So we go to our second setting, and again change the time to come on at say 3 a.m. At 3 a.m. So now we'll water at 12 a.m. It'll make a complete cycle, and then we'll water again at 3 a.m. So we're getting about 16 minutes of water, which this time of year on the turf we're okay with that. We may water 2 days on beds and flowers, but on the turf 1 day a week, 2 cycles is plenty for us at this point. We'll increase that probably in April. So once you got your start times set, that'll be the start time for your entire system of water. Now we're going to move our knob over to the days, which is Monday through Sunday. And you basically just move it to the day that you need to water. If we're going to water on Monday, we come over here and you've got your off and on switch. So we set it for on. Right now, I would just water your turf 1 day a week. So turn all the other days to off. And again, when it begins to warm up, when we begin to get dry, no rains and that kind of thing, then if you'll follow us on Facebook, we'll give you some more tips on how to water. We'll gradually increase a day. We'll add another day. Really, our goal is to try to water 2 days a week only on the turf. And we may even add a third start time at some point in time to do that. But always leave your minutes the same, 8 minutes. Add a second start time, maybe even add a third start time, and then we may add an additional day later on into the season. Down here in the blue section, you see the valves. This is zone 1, zone 2. These are the sections around your yard that are coming on from the controller. So when you see your front turf come on, that's a zone. When you see your flower bed come on, that's a zone. And you just set your minutes here by turning your dial to zone number 1. If that's a flower bed, just come over here. It says zone number 1, and then your minutes are right here, and you can increase or decrease. We're going to put that on 8 minutes, and that's a flower bed. We're going to put our turf. This is zone number 2, and we think it's a turf zone. We're going to set it for 8 minutes. And keep doing that through all of your zones, all the way across the controller. What we would like to do, once we get into April, we may put the bed zones on program B and the turf zones on program A and water them completely differently. So again, watch for those details to come later. Once we've got our zone set, you can come all the way around to advanced cycles, and it should say custom on this controller, which means we've set it up the way we want to set it up. There's other ways to program a controller where it just automatically waters every other day or every 4th day or every 7 days. It just does it across the board. But we're going to customize the program for our controller. The next step is test all valves. You can put it on test valves and just simply come over and push manual advance, turn it to auto, and you will have a 2-minute test on every zone. So if you're out and you've worked in the yard and you want to check the system out, put it on this setting and it'll go to each zone for 2 minutes where you can check to see if everything's working properly. You can adjust that a little bit too if you want to. The next setting is seasonal adjustment. That simply means if we're watering 10 minutes now and we want to increase everything by 50% and water 15 minutes, then we just change this to 150, and that means everything now waters 15 minutes. The same way in reverse, if we get into the dead of winter and you want to water 5 minutes, just push this down to 50%, and then we're watering 5 minutes on every zone. We do still want to water in the wintertime just to keep the roots of the turf and the plants wet so they do not dry out when the hard winter, the hard freezes come in to play. Once you've got everything set, set it back to auto and you should be ready to go. Again, the key here is to set your turf to water for 8 minutes. Just set everything to water for 8 minutes right now in the early spring. Probably in a month or so, maybe even sooner, we may come back with another video to show you how to program it for 2 waterings for your turf, and also set our beds on a separate program to water those possibly even 3 days a week, and our turf 1 day a week with multiple waterings. Again, follow us on Facebook and we'll hope to give you these tips.